Arsenal will sign Declan Rice next week, according to Fabrizio Romano. Positive talks have taken place between Arsenal, Rice, and West Ham. And next week, there will be crucial stages to this deal, and Fabrizio expects it to be done and dusted. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal are on the verge of signing their first big mega signing. Our priority signing next week should be at the Emirates Stadium even before we could break off for the international break. Declan Rice could be an Arsenal player. And of course, Fabrizio Romano has been talking about that in detail as well. I'm going to be giving you all the details of this deal. Where are we at the moment? And why does Fabrizio Romano feel next week will be the last week we hear about negotiations and it will be done? Richarlison has had a total agreement with Arsenal. It's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano as well. Extended his contract. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't sign a backup for Bukayo Saka, because Mikel Arteta thinks Richarlison is the backup for Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. So we might see another huge signing coming in on that right-hand side, just as a backup for Bukayo Saka. We'll be talking about Caicedo and Newcastle, who have also come into the race, but they're well aware that Arsenal is the preference of the player, and they will wait until Arsenal either decide to sign him or not. But according to what I've seen and what I've heard, Kaya Kainak has just confirmed that Arsenal are looking at signing Moises, Caicedo and Declan Rice since January. It is not a summer plan. It was a plan that was put in place since January. And of course, we'll be talking about the Danish centre-back, Victor Nelson, who is valued at around 25 million euros at Galatasaray. Arsenal are seriously pushing. After signing Declan Rice, other targets are going to be approached as well. How about 500 likes on this video? How about in the comment box below letting me know how important is Rice coming in early at Arsenal? Of course, it means that Xhaka leaves, but how important is it that he has all the preseason? Our preseason starts in July, I think July the 13th. That is when we start off preseason. And we have a couple of games. We have a game against Nuremberg, a game against Barcelona in July, a game against Manchester United as well. We have one against Monaco in the Emirates FA Cup, Emirates Cup, not FA Cup, but Emirates Cup. And then we have one on 6th August, that will be the Community Shield. So we have a couple of games to play as we warm up for the next season. So in the comment box below, do you think Declan Rice signing early would impact his success in the first season at Arsenal? Do you think him coming in June and then joining up with the squad maybe in July would definitely mean that he stands bigger chances of being a success as a signing than when he comes in July or probably in August? Let me know in the comment box below what you think about signing players early and signing players late. Right, let's dive into it now. Fabrizio Romano today in the morning has just confirmed that Arsenal will enter crucial stages of Declan Rice deal next week. Official bid expected to be submitted very, very soon after positive talks in the recent days. Gunners feel they are ahead of Bayern as players' priority to continue as players' priority is to continue in England. And it says, but the timing will be very, very crucial for Arsenal Football Club. Very, very big story in the morning from Fabrizio Romano. One, crucial stages next week. Two, a bid will be expected to be submitted next week. Positive talks have taken place, and Arsenal are ahead of Bayern, at the moment, as players' priority is to stay in England. Huge. Big up my man Fabrizio. Big up. Now, listen. Next week, I don't know what's going to happen, right? I really do not know what's going to happen. It could happen on a Monday. It could happen on a Friday. But we know it's going to be a big deal. Like, it's going to be a big week, a huge week. The UEFA Champions League final was on the 10th. Yesterday, it happened. And that is the last game of football in Europe. When that happens, literally the floodgates have been opened. Players can go wherever they're gonna go. I mean, there is nothing now, like a cloud, lingering above the sky. Everything is clear. Everything is crystal clear. Right now, it's time to do business. Right now, it's time to get your paycheck. It's time to get your checkbook, and you're roaming around with huge amounts of money, and you're signing players. Okay. So next week, Arsenal will sign Declan Rice. Now, the argument, like I said yesterday, Arsenal and West Ham, according to the Independent, Arsenal and West Ham are very close to an agreement on the fee. The problem here is the structure, and of course, Fabrizio Romano doesn't want to commit to the fact that maybe there is a close agreement on the fee, but he says that there will be crucial stages reached next week. And when he says crucial stages, there are one or two things he talks about here. One, he's talking about an agreement on the fee. Number two, he's talking about an agreement on personal terms, which we actually don't have. He's, he has agreed to play for Arsenal. We are his priority, right? But we don't have an agreement on personal terms. He could want 300k per week. We don't know at the moment. I think Arsenal know how much he's gonna be asking for, but we do not know whether any of our offers will be accepted, right? So I think what's happening next week, Arsenal will agree personal terms with Declan Rice. Arsenal will agree a fee with West Ham, like a total agreement, and then we will sort out the structure of payment. I think that is where the crucial stage is going to take some time. It's going to be the structure, because according to what I'm hearing, Arsenal are confident to do a deal for 90 million, even without that amount rising to 100 million. So they are confident they can do this deal for around 80 million pounds plus 10 million pounds in add-ons, a summation of 90 million pounds. So they are very, very confident that this deal will not go in the region of 100 million pounds like we saw the Jack Grealish deal. I mean, again, I think West Ham know that at the moment, Arsenal are the only club that will offer you 80 million pounds fixed and guaranteed in 2 years for Declan Rice. Chelsea cannot put themselves in such a financial situation. I don't think Bayern have ever put themselves in such a financial situation. And I don't think they are really crazy about the guy. It's Thomas Tuchel who really loves him. Man United and Newcastle, I think Newcastle do have the cash, but I don't think he wants to go to Newcastle. Newcastle are very, very early in their development process at the moment. I'm also hearing that there will be no players included in this deal. It will be 90 million plain, right? Despite the fact that Arsenal and West Ham are enjoying positive talks, there won't be an Emile Smith Rowe, and I'm going to be very, very personal here. There won't be my boy Emile Smith Rowe in your goddamn deal, and I just love it. Because for me, Emile Smith Rowe is more like a future. He's more like the future of Arsenal. You know, when you have a player in that squad and he's not shown for quite some time, and then at one point in time he gives you that super performance. That is Emile Smith Rowe for me. And I will be very, very surprised if in the next 2 seasons, Emile Smith Rowe doesn't have a super campaign. He will definitely have a super campaign. But anyway, guys, that is the big news. That is the good news from Fabrizio Romano. Crucial stages next week. Arsenal expect this one to be done and dusted. So I think the key to why we are rushing and why West Ham are also rushing is that Declan Rice has told them, I would love to get this deal done early. I would love to get my future sorted very early so that I already know where I want to go. I already know who are most interested, and I already know how much you want, and we have an agreement that I'm gonna go. So can we sort this out early? He doesn't want it to drag on to July, August, and it becomes boring, doesn't it? It really, really does become boring. And I also want to report about other targets. I want us to talk about Federico Chiesa. If Rice is away, probably Arsenal will consolidate their interest in Chiesa, and we'll be talking about Chiesa every day, right? So Declan Rice next week, expect me to say, here we go, or at least expect me to say that personal terms are great, and at least expect me to say that we have reached a total agreement on the fee. If that doesn't happen, the man to hold accountable is Fabrizio Romano, but I trust him. Still, Fabrizio Romano has said that Arsenal have reached a total agreement, and so here we go on the agreement of Reiss Nelson staying at Arsenal. Now, Reiss is a player who has turned down a couple of big powerhouses to stay. AC Milan, Inter Milan, as I understand, and Brighton. One of the most exciting projects in the Premier League this campaign has been Brighton. The fact that he's gone I will stay at Arsenal is absolutely, marvelous. I think Mikel Arteta has looked at him. He went out on loan. I think it was to Feyenoord. Was it at Feyenoord last campaign? Did very well. He's come back this season. He's not had so much of game time, but when he's come in, he's shown those little bright sparks of of talent. But I think with Reiss Nelson, and I'm very, very sorry to say this, it's the same thing with Eddie Nketiah. When you sign a long-term deal, like 4 more years, 3 more years, and you are Eddie Nketiah and Reiss Nelson, it doesn't mean that you're going to be important in the hierarchy of the team. It literally means that the Arsenal are just making themselves, secure. That if any club would love to sign him, because Reiss Nelson right now, if anyone wanted to sign him, probably would be going for maybe 10, 20 million euros, right? Maybe not even 20 million euros because his contract's running down. But after extending his deal, you have a lot to negotiate with. Young player, very versatile, very athletic. He's also had he's got this very, very strong character, and I think Arsenal have really done very good business with Eddie Nketiah and Reiss Nelson. The only other decision that we have to take now is when do we bite the bullet? When we go, okay, Reiss Nelson can now go to another club, Florian Belgen can now go to another club, and Eddie Nketiah can now go to another club as well. So we need to do what Brighton have done with Moises Caicedo. Sit these players down and tell them, we know you want a move, but if you sign a new deal, we will give you our word that if someone comes with a good project and we think that project is good for you, then we will definitely let you go there and you develop your career. So Eddie Nketiah for me is I will expect him to leave in the next two years, and Reiss Nelson as well. After signing a new deal now, I expect him to leave for some good money after the next 2 years. But away from the profitability of these deals, I think Reiss Nelson being in and around the squad is not that bad. I mean, we have the Carabao Cup. There are times when Nottingham Forest knocks us out of the Carabao Cup. That's ridiculous. Players like Reiss Nelson should be able to play in those games, and we should be comfortable. When we play Plymouth Argyle, with all due respect, when we play Sheffield Wednesday, with all due respect, we should be able to play our third-tier team, and it should get the job done. Reiss Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Eddie Nketiah, those guys, they should get the job done when we, play the second team or maybe the third team, right? So let's wait and see what's going to happen with Reiss Nelson, whether he will be sold in the next 2 years. But for me, that is good. That is absolutely good. I still want him out because I know the levels that he brings to the team are not the same levels as we want to be on, right? Just imagine if we played Inter Milan yesterday. Do you think Arsenal could have won that game? You did watch the UEFA Champions final. If you did, do you think Arsenal could have survived Barella, Di Marco, Lukaku, Lautaro, Dzeko? I don't think we would have survived, right? So if you want to raise the bar, if you want to win the Champions League, even when Odegaard or Kevin De Bruyne is not in your side, you've definitely got to raise the bar and raise the levels. Reiss Nelson, Kong's on that new deal, but if someone comes in with good money, let him go. Moises Caicedo is wanted by Newcastle. They've always sniffed around where Arsenal is, but they understand the player's preference is Arsenal and is most likely to go to Arsenal. They also have information that Moises Caicedo will cost over £80 million. That is not the amount of money they want to spend on a player in Moises Caicedo. So I think the information here with Caicedo and Newcastle is that they will be like Arsenal and Rafinha situation. They will wait and wait and wait and wait. Okay, they know the player is for sale. They know the player wants to leave this summer, and they know Brighton won't stand in his way. So the question is he going to Arsenal or Chelsea or Manchester United? If he's not going to sign for any of the big boys, then Newcastle will come in there, negotiate a deal, and get it done. I'm gonna say this, right? Do not allow Caicedo, Bruno Guimaraes to play in the same starting 11. Don't allow that. That is what we call a suicidal, bizarre accomplishment. Like, literally, if you give Caicedo to Newcastle right now, they finished third, they finished fourth in the Premier League last campaign with Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, and whoever's been playing in that midfield, like Joe Linton or whoever, Joe Willock, I don't even care. If you give them Guimaraes and Caicedo and Willock and Linton, And then they go on and sign Dominic Szoboszlai from RB Leipzig, which I reckon it will happen. Those are big problems. Those are really big problems. So don't let this happen, please, Arsenal. Like, don't. Caicedo can go to Chelsea. I don't have a problem. You can give them Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Kai Havertz, and Joao Felix. Chelsea will always be Chelsea. They will win one title, and then they will fall off. But Newcastle and the steady progress and the foundation they've laid, you can't allow Moises Caicedo to go there. Please, Arsenal, this cannot happen. Like, literally, honestly, this cannot happen. Arsenal looking at one of the Danish centre backs that are on fire this season at Galatasaray, and that is Victor Nelson. His release clause is around 25 million euros. Galatasaray will want 25 million euros if they are going to sell. My information is that if it's an easy deal, Arsenal will try to do it. And if it's a cheap deal, Arsenal will definitely be attracted. They would love to sign many players, but not every player is going to be a transfer record signing. And I actually think that after signing Rice for around maybe 90 million, we might be starting to see Arsenal spending the likes of 15 million euros, 17 million euros, and all that. We might not see many big names in this transfer window after Rice and maybe potentially Moises Caicedo. But I wouldn't really care if we could get a new centre back and we get 2 players in midfield and we get a forward and a right back, because Cancelo definitely fits the profile. I'll be all right. I'll definitely be all right. Caicedo, Rice, Cancelo, and maybe Chiesa, and maybe Nico Williams. That would be my dream transfer window. But of course, I will do my dream transfer window. The problem is one of the players in my dream transfer window has already signed for Aston Villa. So I have to change the script of the video and then release it. But don't worry, it will be coming out very, very soon.